Wait, let me just move the camera. And then you can be in the
All
front.
right.
All right, hang on. All right, there we
Hey.
go. We're live. I just wanted to make sure the sound was on. Last time we had one stream one time where it was us and just us, and we talked for a half an hour before
To ourselves, which we do anyway.
It was the banger of winter. It
All
was
right.
good.
What brought this on? Okay. I don't know what your feelings about January 6th are. All right. Now, I'm going to shock everybody, and please stay with me. Okay. Just stay with me on this and listen to my logic. Okay. If you went out and marched with Black Lives Matter, if you looted and you stole with Antifa, all right, if you participated in any of this, you participated in the exact same thing that the January 6th defendants are guilty of. Now, I'm going to try to explain it. I'm not the best at explaining things, okay? You have been told that you're not good enough all your life, okay? You have. You literally have. You can't get into college without help. You can't pay your rent without help. You can't feed your child without help. All right? To think that there's a difference between the white man and the black man is it's not true. It's merely a perspective, okay? You have been conditioned. You're not stupid. You're just as smart as I am, all right? You've been conditioned all your life to believe that you can't succeed without the government's help. All right, that's ridiculous. It's really ridiculous. White women, black women, Mexican women, you've all been told you don't have to give birth. It's your body, your choice. And I couldn't agree with anything even more. But your choice is before you get to the point where you're killing a child. And it is a child. You know it's a child. Stop arguing. Your choice was on what type of contraception or am I going to have sex? Okay. Now, the January 6 people, they're probably the dumbest of dumb. Okay. Because these are people that have not figured out yet that there's no justice in this land and there's no such thing between Democrat and Republican. It's a uniparty.
Yeah, not anymore.
It's all the same. All right. McCarthy ran on being Speaker of the House saying that he was going to release the January 6 tapes. Did he? No. Watch how these people vote. Okay. They all vote for the same crap. There's a few people out there I would consider conservatives. There are a few people out there that I would still consider to be Democrats. Very few. You have the left wing, which is really trying to take over the government, and they are succeeding. Okay. I don't know what your thoughts on Donald J. Trump are. I can tell you right off the bat, I don't like the man. I really don't. But we're at a turning point in history. What I can tell you for absolutely sure is Donald Trump is not part of the uniparty. And in my mind, if we do not, and look, you might agree with what the uniparty is doing right now, but you think about this. When they take full power, are you going to be able to go out there and loot and rob and steal and protest like this? No, they'll stomp on it. Mm-hmm. This is God making us pay for our sins, okay? That's right. And I'm just saying that Martin Luther King said it absolutely the best when he stood there and said, we either walk forward as brothers and sisters or we perish separately. And if you haven't noticed, the Black community and the Hispanic community is being replaced by migrants from all over the world. Why do you think they don't want to shut down the border? Because this is a new workforce that says so damn glad to be here that they will put up with anything. Because where are they settling these? Not my neighborhood. Yeah. Your neighborhoods.
Yeah. let me tell you something. Coming from a different country,
Mhm.
now I tell you, my mom was a single woman, single mother, not for through a lot of circumstances, but she was a single mother for about 10 years. Okay, she worked as a maid and she worked her butt off. I mean, literally, that woman worked 10 hours a day, 6 days a week, and she was up and down. We could barely eat sometimes. Okay, my mom worked 10 that much work, and we could barely
And how
eat
far
sometimes.
was work from home?
Yeah, a couple miles. Oh, we didn't have no means of
Yeah.
transportation. She had to walk there and back. Okay,
Yeah.
that's how bad it
Uphill
was.
both ways, as they would say.
But let me tell you, she worked really really hard, and we would barely be able to stay above water. You don't What you people in this country don't understand is the one thing of the beauty of this country is that if you come here and work your butt off, okay, not lazy, not give me stuff, but work your tushy off from day, and you will accomplish something with your life. Even if you work with less than minimum wage, if you're smart and savvy, and you work hard, you will move forward in this country. This is not what this what we call our homestead and stuff like that. When I was young, at the age of 17, it was this is a castle for us. Why? Because you don't understand where we
Yeah.
started.
We worked till I was, what, 55, 56 before we could afford to pay for this. And I just look out there now and I'm in such amazement. The school system, it's not a school system anymore, it's an indoctrination system. If you cannot defend your opinion, because you don't have an opinion, it was given to you. You can't defend your opinion without catchphrases.
Yeah.
Because that's all you know. You were indoctrinated. You were taught these catchphrases.
Let me tell you, our kids understand the fact. We've told them since they were, old enough to understand. You gotta understand. You're gonna have to work really hard all your life. You're gonna have to work. That's it.
Plain and simple.
Plain and simple. You get your butt up every morning, go to work, and get it done. Our two older boys are old enough to have jobs and stuff, and sometimes they start their day, because of whatever schedule, they start their day at noon. Sometimes they start their day at 5 a.m.
Yep.
We don't have to worry about waking them up. We don't have to worry about doing any of that. Why? Because we taught them by example and by talking to
They're
them.
19 and 21.
Yeah, that they have to go to work, and they expect to work hard. But that is one thing that is lost these days. Even our sons notice that, and it's a cultural thing, unfortunately. And not to brag on my roots or the people of Mexican people, but the little Mexican old
Generally,
lady,
Mexicans are hard workers.
The little Mexican old lady that works alongside with my son, she's harder working than 3, 4, 5 kids put together. What happened?
Yeah.
What happened?
And look, it's a crazy system, because they don't want to fix the problem. You have to believe in, I don't care what you call it, the Great Reset, the New World Order. You have to look what's happening. These people, actually, Donald Trump, like I said, I don't particularly care for the man. I don't. I know he's not part of the system. But you think about this. He is being persecuted because of freedom of speech. If they were really serious about these classified documents, Hillary Clinton would have been in jail a long time ago. Okay, then I would say, okay, well, you prosecuted her, prosecute him. But I mean, it's like we are on the verge now where we're going to lose this country. Do you know, in Canada and in England, there was a lady in England, a good Christian lady, standing on the street corner about a block away from an abortion center. She wasn't protesting. She didn't have a sign. She was silently saying a prayer in her head. And they arrested her for hate thought. Okay? Now, I know you might agree with that. But what happens when it's you? Because you really believe when these people assume full power, they're going to put up with all this nagging and complaining? They're not.
Let me tell you, I think that one of the biggest problems that we have in this country, okay, this is supposed to be a Christian nation.
And we've fallen away from it. You said the pledge.
You said you put on the mantle of God, and you have not been carrying on the way He would have you.
One nation under God.
We put ourselves under the protection of God. Guess what? It comes with responsibilities.
Right.
It's not a free ride. Okay. But what I was trying to get at is all this evangelical churches and things going on out there in this country. I mean, I was so shocked about the attitude of the evangelical churches in East Texas. Everybody has this attitude. Well, it's going to end anyways, so why bother do anything about it? And that is not true.
Let me explain something to you. If the Bible Belt had a buckle, where I live, Lufkin, Texas, would be that buckle. So what my wife is saying is a shock, because the church is broken, even in Lufkin, Texas.
Yeah, they don't, they have this whole lot of white polished brass on a sinking ship. And the faster things go to hell, don't come out here because you're naked. We got a video, live video.
Yeah. In your underwear, same difference. Anyway.
White polished brass on a sinking ship. The faster things go to hell, the the faster we can go to heaven. Satan is in charge, so who cares? All these excuses for lazy Christianhood.
Mothers.
Sorry.
Father. No, that's perfect.
No, I don't want to do that because that's how ladies.
I'm saying mothers, fathers, look at your daughters. They're walking up and down the streets, and they're acting like prostitutes. This young generation, there's a huge portion of these girls that can be had for a couple of drinks. They're not even charging for it.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
And
you're young men. And they sit around and complain like little girls.
And girls tell themselves this excuse. It all goes back to not knowing that you're supposed to work for a living.
Correct.
They tell themselves, oh, I just couldn't maintain my lifestyle if I didn't do OnlyFans, or if I didn't get me a sugar daddy, or sleep for money, or became a prostitute, whatever. Here's a thought. Go to work.
Let me tell you something.
You at least get to keep your dignity when you do that.
When I was younger, I was not an angel. And I was just like, I had made my mind up that I'm just going to be single, I guess, because I couldn't find a good woman. All right. And as soon as I found one, I was, she's mine. I snatched onto her, boy. I mean, to tell you, I married up.
Yeah, that's right.
But
he did.
This is a cultural problem. And I'm not talking black culture. What? No, this is a stupidity problem. It's a culture of stupidity and laziness.
It's an ignorant problem.
You get what you vote for.
No, it's a self-fulfilling cycle. We crank out all these kids from schools. They go to colleges, they get degrees that are useless.
Basket weaving, gender studies,
social studies.
Oh my God!
Critical race theory, blah blah blah. So
you can't get a job with that stuff.
Now you have this crop of kids that have no way to make a living and pay their student loans. Guess what they do? They get a master's degree, they get a teaching degree, so that they can teach the same crap to the next girl. Yep. And now you have a circle of hell that will never end, seems
when
like.
I was 17 years old, okay, I joined the military. And the one thing I learned was respect for myself. How could you be going to a college, all right? Try to work with me here. Going to college and not knowing if the only reason you're going to college is because of your skin color, right? Studying something that it's just so ridiculous to start with, all right? I could rely on one thing, self-respect in my own self. When I got out of the military, I was broke. I needed a job. I worked for like 7 something an hour. I lived in a garage. Okay. No one gave me nothing, nor would I accept help. I got on my feet by my own. And I'm like, this generation of people we have right now are not capable of standing on their own 2 feet without handouts. How did this happen, people?
Yeah,
I mean, is Christ Christ needs to be in you. You need to understand Christ. You need to understand his message. All
Yeah,
right, but
when you become, when you're converted, born again, whatever it is that you call it, and what your conversion is, whenever that happens, one thing will happen is, after researching and looking this stuff up, one thing is going to happen. You will become aware of how sinful and worthless you are as a human to God and to Jesus. Sin will make you feel terrible. Okay, you will slowly and surely clean up your life. If you're in the word all the time, you'll clean up your life. You clean every mucky mug thing that you've been doing in your life.
Right. Satan, as some people would say, it's divide and conquer. And Satan is in Washington, D.C. right now. If he's anywhere, I know my wife will disagree. Satan's not a thing. You're right. He's not. But the spirit of Satan is in Washington, D.C. If we divide them, if we get them arguing amongst themselves, if we get them fighting amongst themselves, if one group of people does something incredibly stupid and we stand behind them, right? Okay, that's good. Now we're putting our morals into your head. Another group of people does something equally as stupid, but not nearly as destructive, by the way. And all of a sudden, these people are villains. This has been going on for 3 years. Kevin McCarthy, I think you're a piece of garbage. Show us. If this is America and this is our country, we need to see this January 6th stuff. I want to see the footage. I want to know what these people did that was so bad that you're torturing them for 3 years, then sentencing them to jail. Yeah. That's ridiculous.
So what I was trying to get at real quick was like, no, it's fine. But that's only the beginning. Okay. We have, as Christians, responsibilities.
Yes.
Once you get over your sin and your sin nature and realize that you have to clean it up and move on, now what?
Correct.
You sit there, you go to church and pat yourself on the head. Oh, I'm such a good Christian because I don't say no.
No.
We have work to do. We have dominion over this earth. We were given dominion over this earth, and we're supposed to teach this and disciple the nations. How are we doing with that?
We're not.
We can't even some people can't even disciple their own families. How do you start? It's a very small circle.
Everybody's looking for someone to blame. And it's no one's fault but your own.
And it's a small circle. You start with your children. Okay? You're a father, be a father. Teach, show. You're a mother. Teach and show your kids. That's where the circle starts, and then your kids will be part of the community. Then it's but
absolutely,
there is no easy. There's no easy way out. There's no easy solution. You have to be the one thing that you want your children to be.
But I can tell you one thing that I do not believe. And they did this after the Johnson administration. The churches, we're not going to preach politics from the pulpit. And that's true. All right, I guess. I think that what the churches need to do is you need to back candidates. All right. For one thing, how can we convert the world when our country is this divided? We need to take note of who we're electing for office. Are they a Christian? Are they of good stock? I mean, first thing we need to do is probably term limits to get rid of these people. I mean, did you see that Mitch McConnell? I mean, man, he freezes up. Is he real? Did the computer have a program? I'm like, what the heck?
He glitched it out twice.
And what about Joe?
Twice.
Yeah, twice he's glitched out, right?
That's funny.
They go up there and reboot him, you know? It's like them old video games. Pull the disc out, blow on it, and slap it. I'm, I'm like, man, what about the president? He can't even put a coherent sentence together.
I know, isn't it?
So
sad?
who's in charge, people?
Yeah.
And let me ask you, why are we supposed to hate each other? I don't hate anybody.
We don't, gay, transgender.
I don't care.
We don't really care what you do in the privacy of your own home. We don't really care. You don't hear gay straight people saying, I'm straight.
Yeah.
I like to have sex with a person of the opposite sex.
I was like,
who cares?
Oh, wait. I seen this thing on what is it, X or Tweeters, whatever it is. Anyway, and it said post the flag, right? I don't know what flag. It was really colorful flag. Well, I couldn't think of nothing much, so I was like, well, okay. So I posted a Texas flag, right? And then no, you're supposed to post a flag for what you are, right? Well, cis or whatever that means, or straight, right? So we look, right? And it is so funny because here's how they brainwash you people. All the other flags is colorful and pretty. And the one for straight people is the ugliest black and white thing you can see. Now, if you can't see that you're being conditioned to hate a group of people just by that,
That's
you
right.
are part of the problem.
Now, as a Christian, your job is
It's
not
to love everybody.
Not
in that way, though.
Yeah, I was watching this little this sermon, and literally 2 seconds of it. The problem with Christians have the if you're gay, transgender thing, you either hate it or you're affirmed. And this is Alistair Beck said, the thing about Christians is we cannot hate anybody because we're not allowed to do that, and we can neither affirm their behavior. So we just need to keep Christ in mind when we do everything. So there are churches that are affirming gay people. There's this really famous pastor, what's his name? Charlie Stanley. Now he's a long-time pastor. He passed away. His son is running around saying, "Oh, these gay people have more faith than you."
If you're of that persuasion, you are welcome in my church. You cannot join my church because you're living in sin. All right. And to join my church, we do church discipline, the whole 9 yards, right? But you're welcome to come to our church. I would encourage you to come to my church. The only you can be, what do they call it, a lay member or something, whatever you call it, where you just come. Yeah, that's fine. Perfectly. Yeah, if you want to put a couple bucks in the bucket, that's fine too. But yeah, I don't hate anybody. The divisiveness is where I see the problem. And it's like they've conditioned you. And you think about it. You sit down and you ask people, why do you hate Trump? And they're going to go to the same thing, the catchphrases that the mainstream media will say. They didn't watch Trump. They haven't listened to Trump. They're just repeating the catchphrases. If you can, and that's what I'm saying here, right? If you cannot defend your opinion without using those catchphrases, you don't have an opinion. You were given that opinion. And that goes for racism, to gay bashing, to what do you call them people, tranny folk. Look, cross-dressing has been around since biblical times, okay? It's not new, and no one hates you.
If I would say one thing, I think one of the biggest problems is that our churches the body of Christ is so divided. Yes. We're so willing to die on the hill over a stupid point,
over a difference in theology.
Like
I look at it this way, she looks at it that way. You'd be surprised how many people will go to war for that.
We don't. He thinks infant baptism is correct. I don't think infant baptism is the right thing to do. It doesn't matter.
In the big scheme of things, it don't matter, right?
Yeah. In the end, obedience to Christ is all that matters. And you know, all these churches, you have all these separated churches and everybody. And okay, here's one of my biggest pet peeves. And you sit there and you have this hour-long arguments over whether infant baptism is right or whatever baptism, or whether all these other minor things in it. And in the meantime, people are sitting around, unbelievers are sitting around looking at these Christians arguing over stupid stuff, and they go like, if they can't figure out, why would I bother to be part of it?
Look, and it's like there's an issue with our youth, okay? I mean, you watch it. I mean, you can see. It's like, oh my gosh. My wife will tell you the story about taking my son to the college over there and the shorts.
Oh, I know. I took my son to enroll in one of our community college because he's trying to get a certificate
In welding,
in
yeah.
welding.
Yeah.
It's
He's single,
summer.
by the way, ladies.
I get it. It's summer. I get it. It's hot. I wear skirts and these nice, cool little shirts because it's hot all the time. Every girl, and I mean every single girl that I saw in this college was wearing booty shorts. Their butt cheeks hanging out, tank tops. They were naked. Naked. That's naked. That's the stuff you wear to bed.
Whatever happened to save it for your husband?
I mean, you know, it's all this stuff. And I know, people will say we're prudes and all that, but we're not.
No.
We're not. But if you as a mother model that for your child, for your daughter,
Yes.
you wear booty shorts, you wear dress as a ho-ho, she's gonna think that's okay. Okay?
Right.
Now, I'm just saying this something's gotta change because even the Jews, when they were through the wilderness, when they were in the promised land, they repented and went back to God.
Thank you.
And things got fixed and things got better. We as Christians, every single one of them, Baptists, Presbyterians, whatever your flavor, even the Catholics, okay? Don't go around telling people because they're Catholic, they're not Christians. Or because they're Baptist, they're not Christian.
Or Pentecostal. That was a new one I heard.
No. Our faith only needs to be as big as a mustard seed.
Correct.
The one thing that makes all the changes, the one person that has the power is Jesus Christ. And that's what we're sitting on. Okay? Our faith doesn't have to be huge. It's Jesus's faith.
We are all in this together. Stop looking for special privileges. Join the human race. I hate to say that, but I mean, we have so many mixed groups. Together, we can take this country back. We can bring Christian values back to this nation, and then we can do what we're commanded to do. Christian values to the world.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, I just wanted to get all this off my chest this morning. I know nobody's going to watch it.
Christians, I will.
My wife will watch it.
Christians, just real quick.
Yep.
We have one secret weapon, one super, super duper weapon. Prayer. Pray for our enemies. We're supposed to do that.
Yes.
There's Doug Wilson brought that to mind the other day. I was watching one of his videos. But we are commanded to pray for our enemies. Pray for this country. Pray for everybody. Pray for that either Joe Biden gets a new brain and a new heart, or that a man with a proper heart and a proper brain is shown into the White House. Okay?
Yeah.
Pray.
Pray.
Only God can fix
Okay.
this.
God bless.
Right.
Goodbye.
God bless.
And remember, we will perish separately. Either we're going to walk together as brothers and sisters, or we will perish in little small groups.
Yep.
And you look at which groups are the smallest, because they're the ones that are going to pounce out first.
That's right.
Anyway, God bless. All right. We're getting close to 30 days.